we'll cover three topics. View selector, just like column selector, we have a view selector in OTBI. Um, then we will cover compound layout. Then we'll cover invoking event using graph. So these are three topics today we'll cover. Um, so first of all, what is a view selector? So in the previous video we saw, like if you have something like let's say you have a column prompt, so then you will have a b c values, right? You can do a column prompt or a table prompt. In column prompt you have to go to prompts um, tab and create it, or for table prompt you can simply just click on any one column, right click, move to, and you can move to column prompt for section, and or you can click on the edit icon beside the table and drag drop the column to the section by or prompt for or excluded whatever you require for. So in the column prompt you have an output here. One of the column is drag drop on the top. That's the method for table prompt, or you can create a column prompt itself. Based upon the value selected, you will have a output here. But in the column selector, what happened was, instead of one column being selected here and its value being chosen, we will be adding three different, or more than one, basically more than one column names here. Instead of values, the LOV list of values will have more than one column names, and based upon which column it is selected, the name itself gives column selector, right? So which column is selected, the output changes and the respective output comes. Now for this, with the same concept, we also have view selector. So let's say you have a table, you have multiple graphs, you have a summary graph, you have a detail graph, then you have a title and all that. So among all these, if you want to show all any one value, maybe table, then you will select that table here. So this list of whatever kind of views are present, like table, graphs, or whatever are present, you can list here. Okay, and in the previous video we have seen, just below the subject area you have a catalog, and just below that you have something called as views. So basically whatever objects created, like the title or the table, or summary graph or detail graph, or multiple graphs or multiple tables, whatever they are listed under, just below the subject area you have something called as catalog. That's catalog, and just below that you have views. So here all the values, what kind of objects are we creating, all the type of views are present. So these are called as views, and hence every type of view we have created will be coming in a list for us to select any one or more. For that reason it's called as view selector. That's the name. Instead of columns, column names, you have view selector, meanings you have multiple views, like a table, or multiple 1 2 3 4 table names, all the table names come. Then 4 5 graphs if you have, that comes. If you have a title, that comes. So all these things come. And again you can also have a column selector. Okay, so if you have a column selector, if requirement, that also comes. So all these things are listed in, again, in a LOB. in a list of values, and that's why the name is view selector. The views come, the different types of views come in the list, and I'm selecting, why am I using this is to select uh, like based upon requirement. You can only make one analysis with multiple types of views, and depending on which view I choose, only that would come in the output. That's the concept for view selector. So before we start view selector, there's one thing. uh, Somebody asked a question that when you do save a sample data, sometimes the data won't come. So once you drag drop all the columns in the normal reports, VIP reports, whenever you select all the columns, write a query, and all of those things are done, the next step is to do save as sample data. Before that, you have to make sure that if in the data tab you have parameters to give, right? So in the data tab, go and give parameters and make sure you see the output of that report. Either you can do a view report, or you can go to data tab and give the parameters and click on view. If you don't do this, you cannot you don't generate data, and then you cannot do a save as sample data. Okay, so sometimes one of the tricks, I will be discussing them in the later videos. One of the things that I came through in normal VIP reports is, let's say you have a new report and you're copying it, you're doing all the template work, and then uh, for the existing DM you're uploading. Okay, so now for the existing DM, if it's a standard one and you don't know, like you have 20 parameters to fill. Okay, now what you usually do is you click on add layout. Okay, you usually click on add layout button. But if you don't have uh, my list of all the parameters that I need to give to generate, first of all you need to generate once output, then otherwise and you have to do save as sample data. Otherwise what happens is, whenever you click on add layout, add new layout or add layout, that button is there, right? So if whenever you click on add layout, an error comes if you don't run for the sample data. And if you have like 20 parameters to fill the standard form, then how would you do it this? Then in that case, don't do add new layout. Instead of that, what you do is, you have a view list option as well, right? When you click on um, edit report, edit under the report name, my usually DM comes, then what comes, a DM name comes, then all the layout listed along with the DM come, right? Here comes on the right side, you have a add layout button, and then you have a viewer list, right? So click on viewer list, a page opens, and there you have a plus to add new layout. So if you use this method, viewer list plus this one, then the error won't be coming. Otherwise, if you are using existing DM and you want to upload data and stuff, then you have to make sure that you have to run all the parameters, and you have to do the save as sample data. Otherwise, while uploading the through new layout through add new layout, it will throw an error. Okay, I think I'm done with that. Now let's go to concept. So first thing what we do is, you go to tools, reports, analytics, browse catalog, uh, new, and I've written small shortcuts here: payable, invoices, transaction, real time. Okay, I'm scrolling this because I'm using VI analysis editor. Okay, uh, then in the criteria tab, now in the essay sections, subject area section, go to invoice details, general information, see the invoice type name. Click on this and drag drop. Okay, Then or just click and click on this icon. You have an icon like this right there. Then you have an invoice amounts. You take three amounts here. Okay, I've taken three amounts: invoice amount, amount paid, cancel amount. Then we'll go to results tab, other views, and I'm adding a column selector here. So whatever kind of object comes in the output, be it title, be it a table, one or more tables, one or more graphs, then column selector, all these things would come when I want, well, when I'll be using view selector to select my view. Okay, so depending upon the requirement, you can include multiple things in the same analysis, and in accordance to your uh, requirement, you can basically show whatever output is required. So in the results tab, we'll go to this icon. Um, you have a bar kind of thing and with a plus sign. Then we'll go to other views, column selector. I'll this usually comes, column selector section comes below the table output. Okay, so I'll drag drop just below the title so that it's on the top, and then I'll click on edit. Now invoice type name, you have to include this include selector, you have to check this, and you have label to give any name. Okay, and in the choices, just below label, in the choices, what you have is all the list of columns selected as to be included in the column selector. Okay, that comes the list comes in the choices. Now once the ticking part is done, what we do is we'll this is how it looks. See, like C1, C2, column name is just comes at column 1, column 2, column 3. Then you have IS like include selector checkbox. So for the first one, for ITN invoice type name, I have checked this. Then comes after the checkbox comes the actual column name. Then comes the label for each one. Then come choices. So in the choices, only one is selected. So I have only ITN invoice type name has come. Um, Next thing is again we'll go to supplier in the subject area. We'll go to subject area and supplier, double click on supplier type, and in the supplier site I'm double clicking on supplier site on site. So type and site I'm taking. Okay, so the next thing is both appear below, include the column selector in choices. Now because I have selected two more, automatically this include selector would come. Okay, it would be checked, and in the choices just below the label you have two more columns. uh, After it is done, just click done, and then we'll go to filter section. This is not required, just a thing that I don't want to add um, any supplier type starting with XX. So I'm putting a filter. You can totally avoid it. This is first very first one I have created. I have created a table here when I have drag drop, right. We'll do each of the things. So automatically a table will be created when in the criteria tab you drag drop all the columns. Okay, next thing is I have taken a column selector. So you have two views here. Okay, we'll see graphs also, but before that, in the filter section, what I have done is in the selected column area. So in the criteria tab you have two sections, selected column and filter section. So in the filter section, in the criteria tab, we'll click on this icon. Okay, we'll go to supplier type, and I've chosen supplier type. Now this is how it comes. Column name is supplier type, operator is not like, and value is excess percentage. It's not starting from XX, it shouldn't start from XX, so I'm excluding this. Now I'll save it. Okay, as view selector supplier report. Now for the view selector, again the just a second, the navigation is same. What is in, we'll go to results tab again, we'll go to this icon again, we'll click on, okay, sorry, before view selector I am adding two more graphs. Okay, sorry, one graph. So again, for anything, any kind of view or anything, you need to add maybe it a folder or static text for your button, the CSS or HTML text to add for a button, or a graph or a bar or a pie or a table, or anything like for, or a folder, or what else, column selector or view selector. You have to go to this icon on the top. Okay, where does it appear? It appears in results tab, because in the results tab, if you want to see or you want to add anything, then in the very output you need to see everything, that how it's looking, right? So this comes in the in the result output, the results tab. Now we'll go to graph and bar, and I'm choosing vertical type of the bar. Okay, now the graph appears below, just below the report output. Again, what I'm doing is, I'm doing again, going to the same icon, I'm choosing other views, and then view selector. So now view selector, instead of table, sorry, column selector, I am choosing view selector here. Now this again, this sections are again below appears graph. So you have a table. What kind of hierarchy you have? You have title. I have previously dragged off the column selector just below title. It, whatever you add usually appears below table. Okay, so it appeared below the table. I have dragged up column selector. I have dragged up to below the title. Let me write it. Now you have column selector, have table. Now a graph appeared once I've selected, and again the last one is I'm adding, um, I'm clicking this other views and view selector. So you have a VS. Okay, this comes just below the graph. Okay, so now what I'm doing is, again this view selector I am dragging it below the column selector. I am dragging drop to here. Okay, I'll do a drag drop here. Now what happens is, just click on edit. Once you drag drop, click on edit. So caption is again whatever, select any one of them, or you can write whatever caption. Caption position, like do you want it to be on the starting of or end, whatever values are there, you can select any one. So I have selected start. Available views included. Available, what are my available views here? You have a title, you have a column selector, you have a table and a graph. Okay, also none options also comes, but these are the four value or five values. This none usually comes uh, by default, I guess. And title, column selector, table and graph. You can add multiple tables, multiple graphs as well here. So I'll click on table and graph, and click on this icon. It comes here, from here to here it comes to on in the views included. uh, Now this is done. You can also rearrange it if you want, uh, like you want something to be on the top or you want something on the bottom, you can rearrange it. Okay, okay, now this is done. So what's my, so this is how it looks now. Output will have a view selector area below the column selector. Column selector will has invoice type name, site and site type, and a view selector will be like any select any one on one of them. I have given up I think, what was that, caption there, select any one of them, and then I selected only two views here, table and graph. Okay, so how does my output looks, we'll see. Now delete the existing table and graph can be deleted uh, either from the okay, why am I deleting here is, see, whenever I'll select a view selector, like for first of all you'll have title. After title you have a column selector. Okay, this is CS, and then you'll have a view selector. Already in the table, in the results tab, what you have is a title, column selector, view selector, then you have a table, and below that you have a graph. Okay, but if I select anything, table or graph, again one more time the same thing will be repeated. So what I do is existing table or graph will be deleted. Okay, now how can you delete it? Either you can delete from the results tab here. Okay, otherwise you can also go to views in the criteria tab. Just whenever the on the left side the subject areas are reported, right? So below that you have catalog, and below that you have um, just views. So in the views section you can just select and delete that. Okay, now these two things, the existing table and view graph, I have deleted. Again, now I want to rename these views. These are all my views, right? Title, column selector, view selector, then you have a table and a graph. So just below this, just beside this icon, you have something like AB and this scrolling kind of icon. Use this to rename the compound layout. Okay, so okay, now one thing I want to make sure that you understand here is whatever is selected, compound layout is one, this is one layout. Okay, this entire thing is one layout. You can add multiple layouts as well. That will be our next topic, to how to add multiple layouts, but you can add multiple compound layouts. So now the entire thing is selected. Okay, I'm renaming compound layout after selecting, by default this entire thing is selected, and uh, I'm clicking on the rename option to rename it. Okay, so here view name is output window, I have given a name. Instead of that, if you go to select a subject area, and then you have a catalog, then you have views listed, all the views listed. So you will have a title, you have a table, um, you have a graph, you have view selector, you have column selector, all these things, right? These are all my views. So now any one of them you can just click on here, select here, and click on this icon again. Okay, just select in from the views, just select any one and click on the rename icon. The respective view, all these things are called as view. So the respective view will be um, renamed. Okay, so this is how my output, final output looks. My output window, this is my this is the entire compound layouts. I have given a name output window. After that you will have a report title or a report name. Then I'll select any, maybe for supplier type I want my output, the table, I'll decide what table or graph I want to show. But based on supply, you have three values: invoice type name, site name, supplier type name, right? So I'm choosing one value, any one value, based on which I want either my table output or graph output to come. Okay, now which one of select any one of them. This is column selector, this is view selector. Now which one I want? I might want table one time, I might want a graph one time. So that is client requirement. So you can decide among, like you can include multiple things, and depending upon whatever value you will select, the respective output would come here. Okay, I hope this thing is clear. Thing is compound layout. You'll have one compound layout. Whenever you click on the subject areas, the analysis editor opens and you have one compound layout. Okay, if you want to add more, that is also possible. Okay, so we'll see how to add those. Um, my here, see, I have showed you the concept of view selector, right? How to use it. Now instead of any particular view, so all these things, all my views were existing in a single compound layout, right? So what I'll do, I'll add 3 or 4 compound layouts, and in each compound layout I'll have one summary table, I'll have one graph, I'll have a detailed table in each of the view. Okay, so sorry, in each of the layout, compound layout, I'll have each one, each view. Okay, so this is was my default compound layout, and I had all the views listed here, but I can create multiple also, multiple compound layouts also, and in each of the compound layout I'll add one view, any one kind of view, and I will switch between the compound layouts now. Okay, so based on a parameter passed, okay, parameter passed here is compound layout name. I'll rename the all my like A, B, C, D, whatever, I'll give names to each compound layout. Okay, summary, graph, detail, I'm taking it here. The compound layout will appear in the master layout. Okay, that particular compound layout should appear in master layout. Just give me a few seconds. Okay. So I'm saying that whatever compound layout I'm selecting, that would appear in my master layout, meaning whatever the view I'm creating in that particular compound layout, that should appear. Okay, now we'll go, basically what we'll do is we'll go to tools, reports, analytics, browse catalog, new, scroll to the same uh, payment invoices, transaction real time, go to criteria tab, go to subject area. In supplier, we'll select supplier and supplier type. In invoice details, in general information, invoice type name, and invoice number, invoice type name number, and in invoice amounts, I'm selecting these two, invoice amount paid and invoice amount. Okay, so I'm selecting, I think six kind of columns, total 6 columns. Okay, now by default I'll have a table. As I said, that once you select any columns, the table automatically appears. So what I'm doing is I'm deleting the table in the results tab. Okay, or you can do in the left side, previously also, as I told, in the on the left side below the subject area, uh, below the catalog you have view section. Okay, so in the view section select in the left side below the subject area and catalog, in views section, you have the table name listed. Okay, that is the first view I've created. So I'll just delete that I can delete from either results tab or from the views, this one or this one. Okay, now will, besides this icon, there are 4 icons present basically. So just a second, I don't know if I have added it or not. Yeah, okay. So see, all the icons are already present in the criteria tab, or on the in the results tab. If you go, all the icons are like renaming icon, or this to add any kind of view here, this is the icon. Again, in the previous slides I've told how to add a what was that, formula column, like calculated column, how to add a measure. To add a new measure, there was another this kind of icon. So all these icons are this is the icon to rename. Again, this is the icon to, don't confuse between different. So you can just go to the icon name, and you'll just keep the cursor there. It will show you pop-up text of what icon it is. Okay, so this was a page kind of thing with a plus was for to create a new measure, while this is for to create a new layout, compound layout. Okay, This is to copy, this is to delete, and this is to rename. That I've here also we have seen, right? Just beside this creation icon, this looks like a bar chart kind of thing. Okay. Now this beside this icon, now I'll click on this icon total 4 times. Okay. Okay, the existing one is already there, so I'll click 3 more times so that 4 compound layouts will be appearing. Okay. Now select each one of the tab. So how does the compound layout appear? They will appear like this. So you will have first, second, third, fourth. This is how compound layouts will appear. One is by default already created. So just click on the compound layout and just click here somewhere. You will have a table output which I have already deleted. Just click somewhere here, and in the views, um, sorry, just click on the compound layout and you have the rename option here. This one, click on this. Okay, the first one, I'm clicking the first compound layout and I'm clicking on the rename option, and I'm repeating each thing to rename the name of each of the compound layout. Okay, so you'll have 4 here. Just a moment. By default title comes in 4 columns, compound layouts. Okay. For renaming the compound layout, you have to click on that particular compound layout tab. Okay, and click on this icon. Okay, but if you want to let's say now I have selected 4 compound layouts, right? So by default it will have 4 titles. Title comes by default, and if I want to rename the title, then you have to go into that compound layout. You have to, after going the compound layout, uh, you have to, in the views you will have 4 titles here. So you have to select one by one and click on rename for renaming the titles. Okay, not the compound layout name, I am talking about the title of the report. Okay, then that's how you can rename the title. Okay, now here I have renamed as master detail summary graph. Okay, afterwards we'll do the same okay, renaming icon and do in the same sequence. Afterwards, what the next step is to, now unless you, we have to make sure that once I have renamed it, you have to switch it. I have renamed the first one, you have to switch to the next compound layout. Click on the next tab here, click on the next tab here too, otherwise the name won't appear. Again, after renaming the last one, you have to again come back to the first one, click on the first tab so that the name appears. Otherwise, without switching, the tab name won't appear. Okay, now in the detail tab, first of all, I am creating the detail. In the detail tab, I'll click on this icon table, and will output in table format comes, and in the table area you have view properties. Okay, just what I am doing is I am creating um, 2 tables and a graph. Okay, the first one was this. Yeah, the first one was detail. Another table is summary. After that, I'll create a graph, and after that, I'll create a view selector. Okay. So in the detail tab, I'll click on table, and the table output comes in the uh, results section, right, in the results tab. Now the in the results tab, you have the table area, and beside the table area you have something called as view properties. Just you can change any style, like I'm just telling you an example. Like for the first table, let's say I've gone to view properties, I am selecting the style tab, and then I'm changing the width 100 2000 pixels to increase the table size. And I'm clicking on enable alternate styling in the same tab, style tab, and uh, you will have rows in white and gray color, alternate ray colors, white and gray colors. Okay, after I made some change, this is for the detail one. In the left side views below the subject area, I'll click the I'll select the table, and I'll click on this icon, okay, to rename the name, to rename the view. What is view here? This is table, okay. So view name is detail. I'm also giving the table name as detail here. This is the compound layout tab, compound layout name. This is the table name, okay. Again in the summary tab, so I have created four kind of four compound layouts. One is detail, one is summary, one is master, one is graph. So in the this one is for summary. I'll just write summary instead of detail tab, summary compound, detail compound layout tab, summary compound layout tab, so that it won't be uh, confusing. So I'll go to summary compound layout tab, and again we'll click on table, output comes, select a table, the output comes. Select again we view properties, in the style type click the maximum width. Again I'm here I'm what I'm doing is I'm increasing the width, and then in the views, left side views, I'm changing the table name. Again click on the table, the second table name, and uh, rename, and I'm renaming the table name as summary. After that, just beside this view properties, you also have format container and edit. So click on edit. Now once you click on edit, what we can do is we can drag drop columns to multiple sections. So I am dragging drop two things, supplier and invoice type name and invoice type number, sorry, these three things to the excluded section, okay. In the columns and measures section, the all the column names are present, so I am dragging drop three columns into the excluded section. This is done, and in the format, again I am going to format container to format some style or border or whatever, make sure that two tables are different, okay. So why did I do this thing here is to edit and drag drop the column name to excluded section. Or there is another method, just go to the column name you want to exclude, click on it, right click on it, and after that move to excluded, okay. Because detail, this is report, detail report, so I kept all the columns here. Because this is summary reports, I have just included certain columns so that the difference is visible, okay. Just I have kept one or two columns, and the rest of the columns I have put it in the excluded section. Afterwards, the third thing is in the graph CS tab, compound layout tab, I'll just write CL tab, graph compound layout tab. Again I'll go to this graph, bar and vertical. Here just give me a moment. View area, select graph. Okay, but in vertical again, okay. Afterwards, now in the output graph area, just beside the graph you have edit. To remove the graph, uh, for if
Okay. Okay. Now again what I'm doing is I have added a graph here. I have selected graph bar vertical. In the output area I've clicked edit, and now I'm to remove these are the graph prompts like invoice number, then you have supplier, invoice type name, and yeah, invoice type name, all these things are there. So I want to remove these graph prompts, and so I can click on edit and drag drop from in graph prompts area to excluded one. Okay, or I can also click on right click on them, and after that select move to excluded, both work. Okay, and I'll click on save. Afterwards we'll go to master tab, last one, and I'll click on again this same icon, other views, view selector. Okay, so in again it comes in output view selector, and then we'll click on edit. Okay, we'll give a caption, we'll give the caption position as start. We'll just write as start. There are multiple things, but I'm selecting this as start. Then you have all the views present here. And by clicking this icon you can uh, move these to views included. Okay, so you have master, detail, summary, graph, four things, and I moved this. So what are views here in this case? Views are not only views which were in the previous example. All the views were present in one particular um, compound layout, right? But here for each compound layout, in each compound layout I have added one kind of view. One in the master and in the summary and detail I have added two tables, summary table and detail table, and in graph compound layout I have added a graph as view. Okay, after moving this we'll click done and save as compound layout based supplier and invoice detail report. Okay, now I'll click below the sorry, I'll click on open below the report name, and how does it come? The output comes, I'll have in the master in the final output what happens is you'll only have the one column, sorry, one compound layout. In the final output you'll only have one compound layout. Which one? You will have the last one, master one, right? This is my master compound layout, and this will have a uh, view selector which I added in the master compound layout. Okay, now here I can select any one, any of the compound layers, either the detail one, summary one, or the graph one, which in turn inside which they will have detail will have the detail table, summary compound layout will have the summary table, then you will have graph compound layout will have graph table. So here using the compound layout concept and view selector, uh, for the last view selector there were four compound layouts I added. Three were detail, one was inside which first one was detail table, second one was summary table, third one was graph table, graph. Okay, and for the last one I added a view selector inside it, and only that output comes in the final output. And whichever view you select, which here is my uh, these are the available views, right? So I have given, make sure one more thing here, that whatever the uh, u name you are giving and the compound layout names, just keep those same, so that there would be no confusion. Okay. So whichever is chosen, only output of that particular compound layout is displayed. Okay. So instead, here, although I am selecting views only here, but because each of the view is in different compound layout, not in one like the previous example, that particular compound layout output will be displayed. Okay. I hope this is okay and you understood something. Then the last one is invoking event. Give me a moment. Okay. The last topic is invoking event using a graph and event channel in OTBA. Okay. So let's say you have a graph. Okay. Now this graph has different type of supplier types. Okay. Let's say R, Y, G, B. Just I have just given initials of the supplier types, and my x-axis has the supplier type, and uh, any one type of supplier type, I'm clicking on any one bar. Okay. Once you click on any one bar, by default, um, the prompt, or rather, just a moment, how does it work? Is it a column prompt, or yeah, table prompt I have added here. So the table prompt for the same type of supplier name that you selected here from the graph output. Let's say you have four types, R, Y, G, B. Okay, whatever values. So you have this is the supplier type, and I'm clicking on S. S type of R is the value for my supplier type name. Okay, I have clicked on the first bar. The respective same type of the same supplier type will be selected in the table prompt here. Also, because this is automatically selected, my output for that only particular selected value of that table prompt comes here. Okay. So I'm invoking a event from the graph, and it's leading me to select a table prompt value, the same value which I have clicked on. Also the output for the same value of whatever the graph I have selected, uh, the same output comes for the same table prompt value selected automatically, and the output also shows up for the same supplier type here. Okay. This is this is called as triggering an event or invoking an event. Okay. So now we'll first of all we'll go to, this is my navigation tools, reports, analytics, browse catalog, new. I'll scroll to the subject area, then we'll go to payable invoices, transaction real time. In the left side subject area you have supplier. We'll select supplier and supplier type. In the invoice details, I am selecting, in the general information I am selecting invoice date, invoice number, invoice type name. Then afterwards, again in the invoice details you have invoice amounts, so I am selecting invoice amount here. Okay. Now in the this is all done is in the criteria tab. Okay. Afterwards, to see the output you have to go to the results tab. Okay. Okay. Afterwards, in the results tab, beside table you have view properties. So click on that, you will go to style, and I am increasing the width, max width, okay, in the style tab. Again I am saving it as master detail event based report, okay. Afterwards what I will do is I will add a uh, bar that is vertical. Again go to the same icon in the results tab, graph bar vertical. Now here error comes. What we'll do is we'll go to views. Below the subject area on the left side, the subject area is present, okay, in the criteria tab. So in that, below the subject area and catalog, you have views. In the views, select graph and whatever the graph is, and click edit. Move all these columns, invoice number, supplier, invoice date, from the graph prompt to the excluded section, okay, and move invoice type name to the from the group by section to excluded section. So by default what I am doing here, don't confuse, graph prompt will have multiple values, okay, and you have to give, I'm taking only one value here because I want to invoke. If I take only one value here, like supplier type, any one value type of one type of supplier type, if I click that, only that output comes. So what I'm doing is, in the graph prompt there are multiple columns by default selected. I'm removing the rest of the columns from the graph prompt to excluded section, okay. Next you have a group by. Whenever in previous videos, whenever we created using a BI composer or the wizard, if you remember, whenever we create a graph, you have first is subtype, that is vertical or horizontal or whatever, okay. The next one is vary color by for measures, okay. So vary color by comes if you have multiple measures, okay. At least one measure should also always be present whenever you are doing this thing, what do you call, whenever you are doing a graph, okay. So the third one was after vary color by, the third one was group by. So there also we deleted all the columns, or did drag drop all columns to the excluded section, right. So here first thing, from the graph prompt section, I am after the edit, I'm taking from the graph prompt section to the excluded section. Next, in the group by section also there are multiple values. So invoice type name, I'm moving it to the excluded section, okay. Now as I said, in vary color by, this value exists, supplier type exists, okay. So if you have like I'm taking one supplier type in vary color by, okay. You can take multiple also. So two colors with for the supplier type, each supplier type color would come in a different color, okay. Now this looks like this in vary color by. In horizontal axis, the supplier type name so the supplier type would exist, okay. We'll keep, so every supplier type bar will have a different color, okay. What else I need to, okay. The next thing is, we'll now the table and below graph are in the results tab. Drag drop the supplier type column name and put it in the table area upwards. What I am doing here is I am creating a table prompt, okay. You have a table output, you have a graph output. From the table output, just click on the supplier type column heading and do a drag drop on the top. Otherwise you also can right click on the supplier type name, column name, and you have a heading name, right. So right click on that, click on move to, and click on uh, table prompt. That's how you create a table prompt. uh, See, this is what I have written here. I'm creating a table prompt, or right click on the supplier type column heading and move to and two prompts. Okay, so I've created a table prompt for here. So this is how it looks. Supplier type, I've created a graph first. Okay, then I've removed my graph prompts, all the extra columns from the group by and the graph prompts. Okay, uh, and I made sure that there is one value in the vary color by to show the report in different colors, right? That was supplier type. Now the first one was graph, the second one is also I've done the table prompt here. Now I'm going to criteria tab. Now I have to create what by default whenever I did the drag drop of the columns, the table came. Okay, this is my table, this is my graph, and uh, you'll have a table prompt. Okay, now what I need to do, I need to create a link between this and this, right? So we'll go to criteria tab, we'll go to supplier tab column name, and click on this setting icon. Afterwards, we'll go to column properties and interaction. There, what I need to, the primary interaction in the value, you'll have two things, column heading and value for the primary interaction. So, for the value in the primary interaction, you have to select send master detail events, meaning you have a master view, then you have a detail view, and I'm sending a event from master to detail. Okay, so send master detail event, you have to select as the value for primary interaction. Okay, and the second thing is I have to specify a channel here. So this whatever you write here is case sensitive, so I'll write supplier underscore type. Okay, the second thing you need to do is to specify a channel, so I have written supplier type. Just copy this, and again go to results tab, table output, and view properties. In the results tab you have a table output, right? So just beside that you will have edit, view properties, and format container. So in the view properties, go to, this is the icon, click on it. In the style tab you will have master detail section. In the master detail section you have a checkbox called as listen to master detail events. Okay, so you have to make sure this is checked. One is this, in the interaction tab you have to do this, and second one is this. And again you have to specify the channel name, event channel. Here it was specify channel, here it is event channel. Same thing, just copy paste. Okay, two things here, two things here. Listen to master detail event and event channel, again the copy paste this thing, save it. Output comes when you click on any one supplier type bar, then the same supplier type will be selected in the table prompt as well, and the table output also comes for that. So this is the graph. You have R, Y, G, B, I have 4 values. This is my supplier type, and I'm clicking on R value. So by default this is my table prompt for supplier type. Okay, now by default this R value is auto selected because I have created an event. Okay, and the output is based on this R value. The rest of the table output is based on this R value. Okay, I hope this is understood. So these are the 3 topics I wanted to cover. In the next thing, we'll next slice we'll cover selection steps. Selection steps are they usually come under and the results tab. Below the results you have selection steps, so you can edit those, you can add few things there, you can remove few things there. So we'll see what are those in the next slide. Thank you.